let's shed some light on developing silver gelatin prints. When you first enter the lab, if the chemicals have not already been mixed, you'll need to mix and check the chemicals. Developer is 2 parts water for each part of developer. Generally, 32 ounces of developer to 64 ounces of water is good for each day. If the stop has exhausted, it will turn purple. If it is turned purple, dump the stop out. Mix 1 ounce of stop to 64 ounces of water. The fix, you'll need to check with hypo check. Dip a little bit of fix out, get the hypo check, place 2 drops of hypo check into the fix. And if you see a cloudy substance form within the fix is exhausted. If this happens, see the lab monitor for disposal of the fix. Now for the prints. First, you'll need to select your negative. This is easily done with a light table, as well as using a loupe to view the negative in large size so that you can choose which is going to be your best option. Once you've selected the negative, you'll place it into the plate carrier, which you'll then use to transport it into the enlargers in the darkroom. When placing it into the carrier, place it emulsion side up, and a little bit of scotch tape will hold it in place so it won't move around while you're trying to develop. With your film strip in the carrier, you'll enter the darkroom. Select your enlarger. Place the plate within the plate holder of the enlarger. For your enlarger, you'll need to select a lens. Each lens has a variable aperture. These can range from 2.8 up to 16. Some lenses will have a smaller range, others a larger. The smaller the number, so f2.8, the more light that can travel through the lens. f16 is a very small point with very little light being allowed through. This can change the amount of exposure that is needed for each image to develop. Less light coming through, less light hitting the paper, less exposure on the paper. Once the negative is in place and your aperture is chosen, you'll turn the enlarger on and then use the bellows to set a rough focus. Once you have a rough focus, you'll use the grain focuser to get more fine, detailed focus. Usually looking at an edge or an eye, somewhere that has detail so you can tell if the focus is correct. Once you've verified focus is where you want it and everything is in focus, you'll select your paper. Make sure that the light on the enlarger is off. You do not want to expose the paper to light prior to your exposure. Once you have your paper selected, you'll place it on the carrier underneath the bands to hold it flat and in place. Once your paper is secured, you'll then move on to creating a test print. The test print allows you to determine what time of exposure you need to get a properly exposed print. Every paper, every negative will take a different amount of time. The way I make a test print is I will do a 2-second exposure at several different times, covering the paper with a piece of cardboard or some other opaque material to prevent light from hitting the paper. This allows me to determine how much time I need to get the level of contrast I'm looking for. Once you've inspected your test print, it's time to create your actual print. For this print, I chose 7 seconds of exposure. Once the exposure is complete, then you'll move on to developing the print. To develop the print, you'll place the paper in the developer, either face up or face down. It does not matter as long as it is fully submerged within the developer. When transferring your prints through the various chemicals, all of the tongs are color coded. Do not put developer tongs into stop or any later chemicals. This will contaminate them. Each tong must stay with each chemical it is assigned to. Otherwise, you risk damaging other people's prints in the future. You'll place it in the developer for about 2 minutes. Throughout the 2-minute process, generally you want to do some gentle agitation around the paper to make sure everything is flowing over it correctly and making sure everything stays submerged and exposed. If you place the print in their face up, you'll be able to see as the image slowly starts to show up on the surface of the paper. Once the 2 minutes in the developer has completed, you'll move the print from the developer to the stop. All papers will spend 1 minute in the stop bath, once again slightly agitating, making sure that the paper is fully submerged. Once the stop bath is complete, you'll move it to the fix. The fix requires special handling, so make sure you check with a lab monitor or check the instructions to verify the handling requirements. The fix for RC paper will last for 1 minute. For fiber papers, it will be 2 minutes. Once the fix is complete, you move the print into the holding bath. The holding bath is a minimum of 10 minutes. This rinses off any random chemicals due to the continuously running water. During the 10-minute holding bath, you can work on doing other prints, or you can wait for the 10 minutes to complete. Once the 10 minutes is completed, you'll then take the print and go over to the HypoClear. The HypoClear will remove any remaining chemicals, just kind of like a soap bath, and it needs to remain in there for 2 minutes. Once the 2 minutes in the HypoClear have finished, you'll place it into another holding bath. This will rinse off the HypoClear, rinse off any remaining chemicals that the HypoClear has cleaned off, and this is all so that once it goes to the dryer, there won't be any chemical residue left in the dryer that may cause staining or damage to somebody else's prints when they go through the drying machines. Once the final rinse has been completed, you'll take it over to one of the 2 drying machines. Each of the dryers is designed for a specific type of paper. There's a dryer for the fiber paper, and there's a separate dryer for the RC papers. Fiber papers need to go into the dryer face down. If they go face up, they can stick to the drum and damage the dryer and destroy the print. For the RC papers, they go through the dryer face up. Also on the RC papers, the dryer is got a narrower entryway, so it's very important that if you're doing a larger print, that you make sure to line it up very straight, because otherwise it will grab it, it'll pull it in, and if it's crooked, it could bend and tear the paper. And once it starts going in the RC dryer, it will not come back out until it's gone through the whole dryer.